It is super bright in Seattle day. I mean, like, ridiculously bright. Like, I had to close the curtains so I wouldn't get washed out, and I'm still a little... Is that better? Maybe. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Trolls and Towers. It is a game produced by Ember Studios, which is local to me in Seattle, or in the Seattle area. I think they may be out of Kirkland, or Redmond. There are a lot of game studios in Redmond. Nintendo's in Redmond, Microsoft is in Redmond, which makes Valve in Redmond, I'm pretty sure, and Steam. Same thing, same diff. Okay. Let's talk about Trolls and Towers. In Towers. I guess that's how you say it. It's a really great classic tower defense game. You're playing against a score of goblins, ghouls, trolls, what have you. These big giant ogre things that lumber around. You have different enemies that you're playing against that have different speeds and skills, which is really fantastic because it's just, sometimes when I'm playing tower defense games, I get the sense that the enemies aren't stacked too differently. I noticed in playing Riven Fortress that the speed of the enemies coming at you isn't really that much different. I mean, there are some goblins or trolls or what have you in this game that just barrel through. Like, they are going uber fast, and if you don't get them, it's game over for that level and you have to retry. So having the ghouls stacked differently, and I mean really differently, it's what makes this game a lot of fun because you have a sense of what's coming next. You don't remember half the time. You're kind of like, well, I just got defeated. Well, that's that. Anyway. You also have different installations that you can place along. They do different things. They fire at different speeds. You have an ice tower that slows them down a little bit as well as does some damage. You have a crossbow thing, like a crossbow tower. You also have like a large tower, and you can also power these up as you're going as well. So it's a lot of different maps. You'll have trolls and ghouls coming from either side up into your tower, or you'll have them following along, as you'll see in the map that I filmed, both in medium and casual. It's got just 4 rows right next to each other, which I found that so far out of all the maps that I've played, that has been the most difficult one, is those 4 rows right next to each other, because the guys in the middle don't necessarily get hit very often. Anyway, so the pros to the game is that it has a great, clean gameplay. It's easy to understand and very infectious. It's great fun to figure out what works best in each instance against each enemy that you're fighting against. It's got a very classic tower defense theme with troll enemies. That's a great pro, is it feels like a tower defense game. It doesn't feel like they're trying to be overly zealous with the theme. It's a tower defense game. You're defending your tower against trolls. It doesn't really need anything else besides that. The graphics are compact and nice to look at. You don't feel like there's too much crowding going on the screen, but you can still see everything, and you don't feel like you're thick fingering it. If that's, oh, that sounds so wrong. But you know what I mean. Like, sometimes you're playing a game and you feel like your fingers are getting in the way, but in this case, the graphics are so well sized that you don't feel like your hands or your fingers are getting in the way while you're playing the game. The cons are the waves show a little icon at the top with the troll attached. I wish you could click on it. I really do. I wish you could click on it and you could see what the class is stacked like and whether or not they move fast. I mean, I remember there's these little troll kamikaze guys that come through every once in a while. And those guys, I always know what they're going to do because they're on like these little motorcycle guys, and they'll just run into your installations and try to take some of the life out of the installations instead of running into the tower. So I know what those guys do every time, but every once in a while I'm just like, okay, now is this the guy that's just gonna barrel through and go straight forward uber fast, or is this the guy that kind of like hangs to the sides and creates this like wall so those guys can get through. One of the trolls seems to be broken and overpowered, and that's the one that just kind of barrels through. Is even in the instance of playing on the casual setting, which I guess in this case is the easy setting in this game. In the case of playing on that setting, this troll is overpowered in that even, which kind of takes away from it being an easy setting. They almost seem the same to me between casual and medium. The level of this troll, how it's stacked, seems the same. So I don't know if it's necessarily great to have it that way. I mean, it makes playing casual a lot more fun because you have a very similar challenge when you face that guy, but at the same time, I don't know. It's, if you're not prepared for him, you can be one wave away from winning, and you can get about 15 of those barreling across towards your tower, and you'll just be like, well, that's a loss. There's no way around it. He seems kind of broken. To the point in which, if you don't have enough mines set up, you're most likely going to get at least a couple of those barreling into your front door. So all in all, Trolls and Towers is a ton of fun. I'm really glad to see a local studio putting out such a great free game. I believe it is free on, oh, my hair looks just super pretty. I believe it is free on Android and the iPhone, so you should check it out if you get a chance, especially if you like tower defense games, because this one is a lot of good, clean tower defense fun. It's very classic in a lot of the aspects. So have fun, guys, and keep playing.